Welcome back to Prospect Analytics. We have a very fun episode lined up for you today. 2025 Bowman's Best was released last week, and we are going to sit down with Bert from Grand Salami Breaks, who has opened multiple cases of this already. We're going to run through the checklist, and he's going to tell us what inserts and new additions have come to the product this year. And then I'm going to sit down and open a box for myself and see what we can pull. And for those of you who aren't aware, our Substack has moved over to our new site, www.prospect-analytics.com. You can go there and lock in those rates before they change on April 1st. And there are a lot of cool features that we have added to the site, so make sure you go and check that out. All right, we are joined today by Bert from Grand Salami Sports Cards. How's it going, Bert?
Grande Bob. What's up, man? Doing good?
I'm doing great. Bowman's Best week.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
How many cases in are you?
4 cases down, 3 to go. We got a PYP that we're about to break a little bit after this recording. So
oh, wow.
Excited to see if we can end with the bang.
I'll have to hop in and watch that. So what is for the people who haven't gotten any Bowman's Best yet, what is the format as far as, packs, cards, autos?
Yeah, you're going to get 4 autos per box. You're going to get 8 boxes per case. So same as Bowman's Best has been for a long time. Of course, last year they did away with the mini box format, just like they did with Topps Finest. So now it's 1 hobby box, 10 packs, 6 cards per pack. So 4 of the 10 packs will have an auto in it.
That's pretty solid. So 60 cards, 4 autos.
Yeah, pretty solid. At MSRP. And I know secondary's already gone through the roof. So
what is the secondary? What are they selling for now?
They're up at like $525 plus a box. I think most LCSs are selling their Wave 1 stuff at like $550.
Are they really that high?
Yeah, pretty crazy for Bowman's Best, but that's the world that we're living in these days.
Yeah,
pretty much
true.
Everything that comes out that's new is immediately going up from Topps.com price.
Yeah. Are there any cool so far of what you've opened? Are there any cool like inserts or short print case hit type things that are fun?
Well, so the Strokes of Gold makes its return. They started the Strokes of Gold last year. They're really, really cool case hit SSPs. Just like last year, they run 1 in every 3 cases. So it's not a true case hit. It's a little bit more rare than that. I think there's something like 30, 40 copies on average per player printed. There's no parallels of them. So it's just the case hit. There's not even a 1 of 1. Which to me, I think is pretty cool and elevates the value of a base case hit SP like it should be.
Yeah, that's cool. I always kind of hoped that they would do those with like spotlights. Like the spotlight could just be its own card,
The spotlights to me are the most underpriced case hit SSP, and a lot of it's the history, right? Because when they first came out with it in 2023 Bowman, they were extremely common, and it's really hard to put rarity back into the two. You know
Absolutely.
What I mean?
It's like they make something and then they mass produce it and everyone's like, this is cool. And then they try to like make it a short print and
everyone loved it. And then they try to make it a short print. It seems to have worked a lot better on the flagship side with the all aces and the all kings.
That's true. Those have been doing well.
But Bowman's always struggled with case hit SPs. I think the Strokes of Gold are especially cool because they're textured. So you can actually feel the kind of the smooth gold paint streaks that are on there. They're really good looking cards in hand.
Yeah, I was just looking at the checklist, before we started this, and I couldn't believe how deep it is with talent because, a lot of the things with Bowman, you're either looking at, in draft, you have the draft guys, and Chrome, you have the international guys.
Yeah.
This is a mix of, all the best rookies, all the best guys from draft, all the best, every name that you would want is kind of in it.
They missed very few names. So there was a big reaction when the checklist came out because I think it's up to about 135 autos in the best of 2025 auto checklist, which is up a good deal, like 30% from last year. I think it was like 105 last year.
Okay. But
that being said, they did a really good job at picking the right names out of the 135. Like for your typical auto that you pull, you're probably going to get a pretty good name, and there's not a lot of clunkers. So I think like the curation of the auto checklist was really good.
Yeah, it seems like if you're getting 4 in a box, you're probably getting one that's like a name, it seems like, with this checklist probably.
Yeah, definitely. And the cool thing too is like you said, generally Bowman's Best will be the best names from that same year's Bowman. So it'll be Bowman Chrome, and Bowman Draft. But this year they've actually done a good job at going back a little bit further and including some guys that had their first Bowman in 2023, in 2024. I'm thinking about guys like Leo DeVries. I'm thinking about guys like Roman Anthony. Of course, they short printed him. Connor Griffin, right? Like, they've done a good job at getting those top prospects. Max Clark is another one.
Yeah, I was looking at the checklist and kind of like splitting them as I went into like, rookies or, good veterans, and then, prospects and international. And it's like every type of prospect or player you can want. I mean, for like the rookies or the, newer guys, I saw Bubba Chandler, Jack's on there, Roman's on there, Jonah Tong's on there.
They went all the way back to 21 draft.
James Wood, Nick Kurtz. I mean, those are like names. And then like on the prospect side, like you said, Connor, McGonigal, DeVries, Madej, Weatherholt, like pretty much they just nailed
the
top five.
The Big Bob top 10. It's like, I think you get 9 of the 10, right?
I think you get a lot of them. And then like you said, in draft, all the names that you like in draft, Willits, JoJo Parker, Cade, Steele Hall, like they threw in like the Elian Pena and like the big international guys from Chrome. It seems like it's like extremely well balanced for a checklist.
There's only a few of like the top, you look at your top 10, top 20 hobby prospects. There's only a few that they missed. Cole Emerson comes to mind as one. Walcott is one that didn't get one. Yeah, some of the guys that typically had their first Bowman kind of in that 22 or 23 or earlier. They missed like a few of those guys, but they also included a lot of them. So
yeah,
good for them.
Seems great. And I saw like on the checklist, there's like, the triple autos and the patch autos might be with the coolest edition. Did you hit one yet or no?
The prospect patch autos are the biggest addition to 2025 Bowman's Best this year. They've never done this concept before. I love the concept. They are beautiful. I would have expected these to be sticker, but they're hard signed.
Are they really?
Really important.
And I think they're player worn too, right?
They're player worn, and the patches are awesome. You should see the patch on the out of 25 Chase Burns that we pulled. Just unbelievable.
That's sick.
And they're very sharp, and the checklist again is really well curated. There's a lot of good names. I think they missed on some
right
in the prospect patch autos, but that's a little bit tougher. I think there's only like 40, 50 names. How many are there in that subset?
I think in the patch autos there are 26.
Oh yeah, so very few.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I was
great.
looking at like the triple autos, like the way that they split them up. Like some of them are by team. Like I saw there's a Roman Anthony, Christian Campbell, Marcelo Meyer, and then some of them there's one of just draft, like high draft guys. There's a Weatherholt, McGonigal, Connor. There's one of high international guys. There's a DeVries, Madej, Walcott triple. I mean, it's just like there's like so many cool combinations. I think I saw. And, most people are chasing prospects who open Bowman, but I think I saw that there's a quad you can hit of Ellie Dela Cruz, Ronald Acuna Jr., Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and Juan Soto. I mean, that's
insane.
To pull that out of a Bowman's Best would be crazy.
Yeah. I was kind of hoping, and this is me getting my hopes too far up, because it is like, it's Bowman's Best at the end of the day. This isn't a super high-end product, typically. In years past, they've done some of the dual, triple, well, I'm thinking back to like 2023 when they just had duals and they didn't have triples and quads, but they were on card dual autos. Like I have one, I have one right here actually. One of my favorite cards. I don't know if it's going to show that.
Was that Laz and Celestin? That's
Laz and Celestin on card out of 23 best. They're sticker this year. So at least from all the ones that I've seen,
it's probably hard to get all those guys together.
Especially when you do the triples and the quads. Like you very rarely see something that's on card for 3 or 4 dudes. So
right. Have you been doing mostly like pick your team or pick your player? Or a little both?
We did one case of PYT. We've broken it down into some smaller breaks and done like 2-box, 2-tiered random teams, which has been a bunch of fun. And then we did a 7 years of Bowman's Best break. So we did 7 cases, one of each year from 2019 through 2025. That was a fun.
I missed that one.
That was a fun journey down memory road, a little bit, and now we have the 3-case PYP as kind of like the grand finale here. So
that's awesome. And so far in 2025, who's been like the team or the player that's been like what you consider the main chase? Like who's like snap selling at like the highest price?
Connor Griffin.
Yeah,
Connor Griffin most definitely, especially because he seems to be one of the volume signers. And like you said, his base autos at a best, like typically not a high-end product, right? I think his base
Mm-hmm.
autos are selling for upwards of $300.
Wow.
And, you know, in a 32 auto case, you have a somewhat decent chance at hitting a Connor. So I think
Yeah.
the value equation is there when people are looking at PYP spots. Shohei Ohtani, he's the only guy on the checklist that's actually more expensive than Connor Griffin, at least in my PYP pricing. And I think typically when you look across Fanatics Live and eBay, like it's the same.
Does he
Shohei's
have
even more
autos?
expensive than Connor. He only has insert autos, but he does have like on-card insert autos. Of course, Backyard Breaks
Wow.
pulled the 1 of 1 on
Oh,
release
that's
day
right.
of one of them. But yeah, even the Shohei, like Shohei base refractors are selling for like 30-40 bucks. So if you hit a parallel, even if it's
The non-autos.
a laser out of 350, like you're looking at potentially a 3-figure card.
And I mean, considering Connor Griffin's first Bowman auto sells for like 800, a Bowman's best auto for $300, that's a pretty
Yeah.
solid like percentage.
It's really interesting. I have a lot of kind of, obviously it's release week, so there's that
Yeah.
bump. Like we'll reserve judgment until we let 2 or 3 weeks pass and we see where kind of the market settles on this. But what's interesting now is there used to be so many more offshoot Bowman brands. Like go back to 2022. In addition to the 3 flagship releases, we had Bowman Platinum, which was like the lowest end.
Mm-hmm.
We had Bowman Sterling, which of course has been a staple. We had Bowman Inception, which was something that they brought back in 2021, and I think they tried and they kind of really didn't like the results. And then you also had Bowman Transcendent, which was their attempt at an ultra high-end prospect product.
Yeah.
All of those have gone away except for Best.
Wow.
There's been no Sterling
is-
in 2025, which is a surprise. We saw it in 2024.
And there's no
Inception was
Inception?
cut last year. It's not going to
Yeah.
come back, I don't think. Transcendent was cut last year, and I don't think it's coming back. It's going to be really interesting to see what Fanatics ends up doing with this, because you can't think that they're just going to leave this massive baseball prospect market just to 3 flagship releases and Bowman's Best. But it
Right.
appears
So
that's
it's-
what we have for this year, right? So like they've taken some of the best ideas from Sterling and they've put those into Best. That was kind of my writing on the wall that we're definitely not going to get Sterling this year. The triple autos and the quad autos were typically something that you find in Sterling and not in Best. They brought those in, and then also the acetate tech subset is
Yeah, those are cool.
actually like one of the pretty big chases in this year's Best. That's typically a Sterling thing, and they were really popular in 24 Sterling. Those tech autos, they've brought those in pretty much the exact same concept appearance to Best.
That's cool. So they basically took like all the things you loved about the lower
Sterling.
tier Bowman products and just like
Yeah.
made them one release. I mean, that's kind of like,
and I think for that reason, right, like you should see a little bit of an elevation in what people are willing to spend for Bowman's Best autos.
yeah.
Right? Because there's just fewer releases. There's not as many autos of a guy like Connor Griffin. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I know you said that he's been a volume signer. I think you said that you were looking at the haystack graphic, that Connor has had the most sales of any player in Bowman's Best over these first 2 days. So we know that he's a volume signer, which is great because he's one of the names we're after.
Yeah, Haystack actually ran a script just to look at, it looks at sales and also just listings. Yeah, 42 Connor listings. Was this the day of release? The day after release. 42 Connor. The next up after that is 24, and it's JJ Weatherholt. And then Jack Caglione, Charlie Condon, Rainiel Rodriguez, Thomas White, like big names. So
Those are great names.
I mean, some of that is right. People are going to want to get the big names up the fastest, but I think there is a little bit there about the volume at which they're coming out.
Now you mentioned that Connor is a volume signer. We talked about before we started recording that there's someone that people have been paying quite a bit of money for in breaks that has yet to surface.
Yeah, Roman Anthony doesn't appear to have base autos, refractor autos, or any best of 2025 autos numbered. I mean, it's hard to tell at this point. The only one that we've seen listed on eBay is a red X-Fractor Redemption out of 5. So it appears that Roman Anthony is very, very short print, which is unfortunate because he has not been priced in breaks leading up to release and during release week as if he is short printed. So we've I feel really bad for people that have been chasing Roman. It's very akin to, your typical Bowman flagship when, you jump in a big multi-case PYP and it turns out that your guy's SP. Like, it's not fair. I hope that with how much emphasis Fanatics is putting on breaks, they do a good job at giving customers that information ahead of time so that they're not overspending.
I feel like because I mean, like I remember Bowman releases in the past where it's like lower end guys where their autographs just aren't in the product. And that's one thing, but to put Roman Anthony on a checklist and then not put him in the product, I feel like that's crazy.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I'm not sure if any other guys are in the same boat as Roman. It's just one that I noticed as I was working on my PYP pricing, because I like to go in and see kind of, are there autos popping up? How much are they listed for? How much are they selling for before I price out a PYP? And I noticed that right away with Roman. Like, you see a bunch of his tech autos on eBay, but you see none of the best of 2025. And the tech autos are extremely rare. So immediately I'm like, yeah, he definitely doesn't have base or refractor autos. If by the end of release day, there's none up there and there's 40 Connor Griffin,
Now, do you have to adjust your pricing when that happens, or do people just keep buying him because he's Roman Anthony?
I don't know. It's a bit of an ethical quandary, right? Like,
right?
What's the responsible thing to do?
You're not going to pull him. Well, I guess that's not true.
I know a lot of less educated breakers that aren't spending the time, like, looking on eBay and picking up on things like this. They're not going to adjust their pricing. They're going to continue to sell what sells, and they're going to adjust the pricing based on demand. But it seems like the market demand hasn't quite caught up to what's the reality of the situation, that is super short print. So I did drop his price pretty considerably.
That's good.
But I still feel like it's probably a little bit too high. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I mean, I guess if you pull one of those insert autos that have surfaced, those are probably going to sell for
big
enough to cover your spot,
Definitely. It's just super rare.
How has the quality control looked? Anything noticeably bad or good?
The only major quality control issue that I've seen so far has been on the base refractors. We had one case where it seemed like there was a really bad cut run, and we're talking like way, way, way off center, almost to the point that the Bowman's Best logo was cut off the top.
Oh, wow.
But those are just the base unnumbered refractors. So far, what I've seen on the hits, your numbered base parallels, and then also on your autographs, they've been really good condition. Probably actually better than the last couple Bowman flagship releases. So overall, thumbs up. If you're gonna butcher anything, you might as well have it be the unnumbered base stuff, as long as the hits look good.
Yeah, I mean, that's great that the hits are looking good. And when you, I feel like when you open like a product like, because obviously you said they got rid of all the other Bowmans, but we have like Topps Pro Debut is another like lower end one that people who chase prospects will open. And I feel like when you open that, you always like you hit low color, and it's almost like Topps is like they know that it's a lower tier product, so they like load it with color. Have you found that to be true with Bowman's Best so far? I know it's not lower tier anymore, but
yeah, I mean, the expansion of the parallel rainbow year over year means that your typical box is going to have more hits. Now, what's the, if you think about, your typical hit, what's it going to be numbered? It's going to be numbered higher than what it was last year. But it's that feel that there's still that there's more frequent hits coming out. And when your checklist is only 100 names, usually the hits are pretty good on the base side of things.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they did a really nice job. It's not realistic to expect Fanatics just to cut print runs when the demand is as high as it is right now. They only raised the print run about 15%, it looks like, when you infer the print run based on pack odds year over year from last year, which isn't terrible. Especially considering that they got rid of some of these other offshoot Bowman products. I think it does elevate Best. I think Best is, like I said, it's one of my favorite releases of the year so far. It's either Best or it's 25 Bowman Baseball, which was epic at original prices.
That was a great product.
I mean, the checklist is just too good.
It really is. I feel like every year I think that like we get like a year past the release of Bowman, and I look back at the checklist and I'm like, man, I remember in 2024 looking back at 2023 Bowman with Roman, Laz, Caminero, like the list, and just being like, oh my God, how are we like I feel like Bowman does such a good job at mixing draft picks and international signings.
Yeah, so far I think I remember last year we were talking about 2024 Bowman as being a potential buy, but that's probably one that it skipped 24 a little bit. So far at least it's a little cooler than maybe we might have expected it to be with some of those names, but
Yeah.
still a lot could pop out of that 24 checklist. So.
Now, do you think, obviously there's like a growing demand for people collect like the Bowman U football and Bowman U basketball. I had someone ask me the other day, do you think that they will ever make a Bowman U college baseball? Or do you think the fact that when you're drafted, you become a minor leaguer, which doesn't really happen in any other sport, kind of like makes it redundant?
I think more of the latter. I think it makes it redundant. I don't think they'll ever really do a college baseball product. It feels like Topps, they have their recipe for first Bowman in baseball, and they're trying to replicate that in the NBA and the NFL as much as they can. But realizing that those guys make that direct jump from college right onto the pro squad and not having that minor league level just makes it fundamentally different.
Yeah, so it's like they're trying to get basketball players and football cards firsts before they're NFL players, whereas in baseball, that's just Bowman. That's just
because the equivalent of like right after a guy is drafted, you see their first licensed card be a Bowman first, but in the NBA and the NFL, they just go straight into the rookie cards.
Right. So. And it's like, how could you make a college baseball product and say, have anything in the product be a first Bowman when that player's going to get a first Bowman?
They'd have to be creative about it and very careful with it, because you wouldn't want to take, I don't know. Bowman people are very traditional too, right? Like any shaking up, I don't know how much they want to shake up that model. I feel like it'll just continue to be the way it is.
Wasn't there a period of time where they were putting like first logos in Inception? I remember seeing them and being like, what are we doing?
Yeah, that was really interesting. I loved it. The market did not catch on at all. What they did on 2021 Bowman Inception, which was the first time they brought back after a multi-year hiatus, they brought back Bowman Inception. They put a little eye on the card, kind of like the first Bowman insignia, but it was an eye that stood for initiation. Their Bowman initiation. And what they did is any of the guys that had their first Bowman in that same calendar year, they got an eye. So I'm thinking about Yiddy Kape. I don't know why he just came into my mind, but he was in 21 Chrome.
I think, I'm trying to think of who I had Inception cards of. Kevin Alcantara, maybe?
Yep, he was 21 Bowman.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Or like Austin Martin was a guy in 21 Bowman. They had the eye, but they didn't see any secondary demand for that.
Right.
People pay the premium for the first in the Bowman world, but nobody paid a premium for the Bowman Inception eye, initiation eye.
It's still a cool idea though.
I think that they'll apply that somewhere else. I thought for a second they were going to do that with the prospect patch autos. I thought they were going to put something on there like a first if it was a player that had their first Bowman in the calendar year, say, I don't know, Jesus Mate, that he would have like a first patch or something like that.
That would be
but
cool.
It doesn't appear that they've done that, at least from the ones that I've seen pop up.
Now, I know that you talked about how, best is often like the tier below the three main Bowman releases. So you have Bowman, Bowman Chrome, Bowman Draft, and then Bowman's Best is kind of like the tier below. But with how much you've talked about, it's your favorite rip, if I'm giving them to you at the same price, I know the Bowman firsts are what most of the Bowman snobs want. But if I gave you a choice, Bowman's Best or Bowman Chrome, which one would you rip?
Oh, for the same price right now? Between 25 Bowman Chrome Hobby and a hobby box of Bowman's Best?
Yeah.
I would probably pick a box of Bowman's Best.
Really?
Yeah, I would.
So now we're getting, with what how good they've made this product, it's almost, not that it's in that tier with the three main Bowman releases, but you would put it as an equal to Chrome, or better.
Yeah, and I think the secondary market would also reflect that, right? I think a box of Bowman Chrome Hobby right now is probably somewhere in the neighborhood of $300 to $350. It's been a little bit since I checked, but Bowman's Best is up to $550 or so. And Bowman Chrome, you're going to get 2 autos, and Bowman's Best, you're going to get 4. You're going to get a lot more color in a box of Bowman's Best. But the ceiling is going to be a lot. The ceiling's going to be a lot lower. The floor is going to be a lot higher.
Yeah. Well, you get bigger names in Best, but like you said, higher ceiling cards. But I will say,
Yeah.
for some of the singles I checked for Bowman's Best, I want to say there was the Weatherholt, Connor, and McGonigal triple, a gold one of them sold, and it was like 1,500. I think I saw a McGonigal patch go for like $3,000. Like there's been quite a few sales, like 4-figure sales out of Bowman's Best already.
Prospect patch autos are a huge addition. Huge addition.
Yeah.
That all of a sudden is becoming, I think, the biggest chase out of the product.
Are you going to hold a case as see if it keeps going up?
No, I break everything that comes through here pretty much.
A man of the people.
Yeah, if I was smart, I don't know. I think right now at like $550 a box, we're probably close to the peak. Like I wouldn't advise picking up a case as like an investment necessarily. Mm-hmm. When you look at how this product ages over time, you go back and you look at, say, 2019 and 2020 Bowman's Best, which also had really good checklists. Those boxes are only about $200, $250 a box right now, versus you're looking at a 2025 Bowman's box, same 4 autos, very similar configuration, is $550. I don't know how well it ages.
Do you think that there's a chance
you
that
have Shohei autos, so it's not like it's lacking for a chase.
Do you think that maybe this theory was, like I feel like when Topps took, like Update, which was kind of like I know people like flagship Topps, but like they took a product that was not that exciting and added debut patches to them to make it a product worth opening. Maybe the Bowman's Best, because you can't hit patch autos in the regular Bowman releases. Yep. Well, sometimes in Chrome, but not the prospects. Maybe they're adding this to make it a step up.
Very, very similar to that. Yeah, Topps Chrome Update adds the Celebración SSPs, and then they add the debut patches, and it's kind of the same thing in Best. They add the Strokes of Gold, and they add the Prospect Patch Autos, and, Prospect Patch Autos don't have the same allure as the debut patches, but
sure,
they are easier to hit than a debut patch, which is really cool, and they're going for really nice numbers. I think they, on average, come out like 1 every 3 or 4 cases, these Prospect Patch Autos. So because there's no like 1 per case hit in Bowman's Best, which I think they could add, and I think they should add something like that. But right now you have the Prospect Patch Auto, you have the Strokes of Gold, and then you have the double, triple, and quad autos. And between those, each case typically, I'd say, averages about 1 of those. You get one of those.
That's still fun.
Yeah, it's really fun.
It seems like a great. I'm assuming that they, saw the excitement that the debut patch created and thought maybe it was worth making a prospect version of it. I agree with them. I think that is a great addition.
The patches are awesome as well. Like patches, you knew that Fanatics was going to come in and elevate the patch game. Like that's their game, apparel, right? So, especially when they're just including player worn stuff and it's not the game used, they can get really creative and nice with the way they cut some of these patches.
Yeah, I feel like in the past, even some of the older Chrome releases, I don't know if it's Chrome or Bowman that you can hit like veteran patch autos. Was that Chrome? But even that, Chrome. I feel like if you ever got patch autos in Bowman, it was like probably not from any specific game or event. It was probably a sticker auto. So for them to go player worn on card prospect patch autos, that's sick.
Yeah, Bowman Chrome, it's always been one of those things, like they are pretty rare, but they're not very valuable. And so whenever you hit one of those in Bowman Chrome, you're almost like, shoot, I wish one of my autos got wasted on a patch. I wish it would have been a first. But in Best, it's like, hell yeah, this is great. This is actually like an elevated hit.
Yeah, it seems like, obviously they raised the price a little, but it seems like the one thing is, year after year, we see them elevate the print run. We see them raise the prices. But it seems like in this case, it was worth a price raise because they added a lot of things to it that make it a cooler product than we've seen in years past.
Yeah, I think Slap Squatch over on Twitter, Wax Metrics, he said it best in one of his posts about Bowman's Best. He said, in this economy, there's a way that Fanatics Live can responsibly increase a print run and raise the price a little bit, but still deliver a really good customer experience. And I think they've done that with Bowman's Best better than they have with almost any other 2025 release. I think there's been some cases where they've done that irresponsibly and really gouged the customer. Bowman's Best is one of the few, I would say, where they nailed it.
So are you putting your stamp on 2025 Bowman's Best being your favorite Bowman product of the year?
It's gonna take a lot to pass 25 Bowman baseball, man.
But don't you think that even the fact that it's in the conversation is impressive? Like, I never even would have opened a box of Bowman's Best in the past, and I'm going to open one because of how cool all this stuff is.
Yeah, definitely. I think you make a really good point there. Like, it's elevated this year. It's different.
Yeah. And if anyone listening wants to hop into any of the Bowman's Best breaks that you're running, where can they find you?
Oh, man. Yeah, I'm hoping that we get some wave too, but you can find me on Twitter at Grand Salami SC. We post most of our big breaks onto our Twitter, and then we run our breaks on YouTube. We also have just started breaking on the Whatnot machine, so you could find us over there. We're going to be starting to break on eBay Live here soon too, so a few different places. Hopefully eventually on Fanatics Live, but right now just mostly on Twitter.
And for the people who haven't been in one of your breaks, the coolest thing about it, well, obviously you're cool, but you were one of the first people to get on board with Haystack, which is one of the coolest break features. I can't believe that Fanatics Live hasn't adapted some version of it before. But tell the people what all that Haystack's about.
Yeah, so for any of our big case breaks that we usually anything a case or more that we post on Twitter and we run the break on YouTube, we have a partnership with this great company called Haystack that does card identification and ingestion, essentially. So they have essentially what's like a 3D printed light box that you use to take really high quality photos of the front and the back of a card. But then the really cool part is they have a software that takes those photos and automatically titles and describes them all the way down to the parallel, the serial number, the year, the set. All the details that you need to post a card to eBay get automatically populated through their AI software that they're using to recognize what card it is. And so what we do for our break customers is we image all the hits. Like in this 7 years of Bowman's Best break that we just ran, we imaged 600 cards, and all of those hits will be emailed to the customers as quickly as we reasonably can after the break, so that they can see front and back images of their cards prior to getting them in the mail.
I mean,
and they also have
so
the ability,
cool,
if they want, to consign through us on our eBay store or to have anything evaluated for grading free of charge. So we think it's pretty cool. We think it's a game changer, especially when it comes to release day, release week breaks, where there's a premium for these cards in the first 3 or 4 days that goes away fast. Usually by the time you end up getting your break package, you're not able to get as much money for the cards that you do want to shed and sell. With Haystack, you can kind of get those cards right up on eBay right away before they ever leave the breaker's room.
Yeah, I was in a break. I forget which one break. I did it was either Flagship Bowman or Bowman Chrome with you last year, and that's what happened was I was at a I was at a minor league game, and I couldn't watch the break. And it was one of the first breaks that you used Haystack for. And I got home and I was like, oh, I wonder if I, like hit anything in Salami's break. And I opened my email and I had an email from Haystack, and it was every one of my hits, like you said, front and back images. And like, there's no more like you have to go back and, watch the break or like wait in the mail to see what you got. Like they literally show you this is what was just hit for you. And I thought that was like the coolest thing I'd ever seen in a break.
Yeah. Haystack is awesome. They're growing. There's a lot more breakers that are picking up that service, and we're just happy to be along for the ride. There's a lot more to come too. Like Haystack, some of the innovation that they're doing is insane. I wish I could talk more about it, but maybe for another episode.
Yeah, absolutely. And I tell all the people out there that, I don't hop in breaks super often, but if I do, you're one of like the 2 breakers that I will ever break with. So I recommend anyone listening to hop in breaks with Grand Salami. He's the best in the business.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. Yeah. I get so much from your Substack and all the stuff that you do for the prospecting community. I use your analysis all the time to price out my breaks. And we know the effect on the market that some of your insights have now. So
it's getting kind of crazy out there.
It is getting crazy out there. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you joining me and talking through the product. I want to, I haven't opened any yet. So before I open my box, I kind of wanted to make sure it was worth it. And you've convinced me that Bowman's Best is worth opening this year.
Good luck on your rip. Definitely let us know what you find.
Thank you.
All right, man. Thanks for
All
having
right.
me on.
Yeah, thank you. All right, we got our box here, 2025 Bowman's Best. Bert talked it up, said that it was a great product to rip, one of his favorite Bowman products of the year. So we're going to see if we have as much luck as he did in those cases. I honestly can't say I don't know that I've ever even opened Bowman's Best. As we mentioned, it's usually, like a tier below Bowman, Bowman Chrome, all those. But this year they really did a good job with the checklist, good job with the parallels. Seems like it is worthy of the price increase, as Bert mentioned. I'll kind of run through these. I know a lot of people might not have seen the Bowman's Best yet, so we'll kind of go through and show you what it looks like. Corey Seager, Vladdy Jr., Mason Wynn. Oh, first autograph. It's going to be Thyron Lorenzo of the Tigers. He had a down year, but I'm actually a big fan of his power bat. He is a sneaky, sneaky guy. He was just balling for the Dodgers when he got traded, and he actually played really well right after being traded to the Tigers, and then he kind of came back down to earth last year, but he's got good upside. And those refractor autos have a print run estimated of 365. These are 1 in 16 packs, so not too bad there. And then a refractor of Kyle Stowers. It's a cool looking product. There's a start for us. 4 autographs per box. Whoa, got some color here. Jackson Merrill, Christian Moore, Rafi Devers. Looks like we got a little aqua. It's going to be Jackson Churio out of 199. Nice little Jackson. And an Andrew Painter refractor. Andrew Painter looked good the other day. I know he's had kind of an up and down minor league career. He looked like he was going to be basically a consensus #1 overall pick when he first burst onto the scenes. Unfortunately, been ravaged by injuries, but he looks to be back. He's definitely going to debut this year. Whoa, what do we got here? Garrett Crochet, Carlos Correa. Oh, that's cool. Bobby Witt Jr. there. That's a cool looking parallel. Wow, Jacob Wilson on the laser to 350. Let's see what this Bobby Witt parallel is. Circuitry. That's the circuitry parallel. Those are 1 in 12 packs, so pretty much 1 per box. Estimated print run a little over 2,000. Jacob Wilson laser is numbered to 350. And a Spencer Schwellenbach. Feels weird that he's still a rookie. Rookie on the refractor. Unfortunately, we'll miss a big portion of this year with elbow trouble. I love Schwellenbach, though. Not biased as a Braves fan. All right. It's a couple fun packs there. Byron Buxton, Young Hoo Lee, Corey Seager. Is this another autograph? Looks like we got a refractor auto. Yolfran Castillo. He's another high upside guy in the Rangers organization. And a Corbin Carroll refractor. So 2 autos, both refractors. Again, the print run on those refractor autos. 1 in 16 packs. So the print run's 365. So, standard refractor auto and Bowman 499. So those are both shorter printed than that. Let's get something cool. All right, let's see what we got here. Andrew Abbott, Dalton Rushing on the rookie card, Jacob deGrom. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Look at that. Those are cool. These aren't short printed, but I love them. Oh, Jack on the refractor hiding back there. Is this the pixel portrait? Yeah, these aren't short printed. These are 1 in 6 packs, but it's only a 25 card checklist. We got Cam Smith on the rookie card. That's a cool card. Jack on the refractor. I know these aren't short printed, but I love the look of these pixelated cards. That's really cool. I don't feel any super thick packs. I don't think there's going to be a prospect patch auto in this box. Would have been cool. Looks like we got a little color here. Lindor, Mason Miller, James Wood on the rookie card. And we got a little purple here. How about Jackson Merrill to 250? And a Carson Williams refractor. So pretty good names on the numbered cards. We got a Churio numbered, a Jacob Wilson numbered, and a Jackson Merrill numbered. This is just a strong checklist. It seems like there's only a few players who I would really consider duds. They really did a really good job of mixing this. So we got a little something here. Oh, I don't know what he sells for, but I know that his first Bowman sells really well. So this should probably do well. Two-way player for the A's. Was a big chase. People love him. Highest amateur signing out of Japan ever, if I'm not mistaken. What do we got here behind it? Whoa, that's cool. Leo DeVries, another guy I love. Look at all these. I got another pixel and a Scooble pixel. Yeah, these inserts are cool. This is the All-Star Game insert. 1 in 6 pack, so again, not short printed. Still a cool card. Scooble on the pixel. And Ronnie. That's my guy right there. Playing in the WBC right now. Gotta put all these out. All these different inserts and parallels so you can kind of get a look at them. I haven't looked at the comps on these autos yet, but I would imagine that the Maury is the best hit just based on how his regular Bowman autographs sell. So we should have one autograph left somewhere in here. I like that they give you color, though. I mean, that's a lot of serial numbered cards. Oh, we got a yellow or a gold or something. Chase Burns, Walker Jenkins. How about a Vladdy to 75? Vladdy on the yellow out of 75 there. Oh, what's this? Is this the tech? Whew. This looks cool. Acetate. Wow, to 99. Best Tech Acetate, Luis Angel Acuna out of 99, a rookie card. That's cool. And a Garrett Roche refractor. A lot of good color. Vladdy to 75. Keep hoping that one of these is going to be a thick pack. But no such luck. Still, I'm a big fan of numbered non-autos. It's kind of the struggle with Bowman sometimes. There's Drake. Is that, if you strike out on those autos, there's nothing really numbered to save you. Pretty good serial numbered cards here. Gavin Keelan is going to be the last auto. Again, they did a good job of getting guys that were in Bowman draft. Keelan was a top 15 pick for the Giants. Zaire Hope on the All-Star Game. And Max Clark on the refractor. Three packs left. Let's see what we got here. Alonzo, Freddie, Churio. We got a wave of Vladdy again. The waves are 1 in 12 packs. I think you get 1 per box. Estimated print run of 640 cards. Look at that. We're Vladdy on the wave, Vladdy on the refractor, Vladdy on the yellow. Quite a bit of Vladdy Guerrero Jr. here. I think we're due for one more color. One more serial numbered card here. Oh, we got something back there. Stephen Kwan, Gunnar Henderson. What is this? Oh, that's cool. That's the old school Bowman's Best logo. Look at that. This is like this reminds me of like those 98 Bowman's Best, the Griffey and Bonds. That's what that design is. That's cool. On the Marcelo Meyer, this is best performance. 1 in 12 packs, again, 1 per box. Estimated print run of about 2,000. I like that insert. That's really cool. And we've got some color here, some blue. It's a Yank. Oh, all rise. How about that? Aaron Judge to 150. That's a cool card. And Mason Wynn on the refractor. I feel like these is not usually a Bowman's Best guy. These are pretty cool. My autos could have been better. At least they're all prospects. Good for me. Last pack, we've got orange. We have orange in the last pack. Last pack magic. Jacob Wilson, Seiya Suzuki, Manny Machado. What are we feeling here on the orange? It's a bat. Is that Max Clark? Is this a color match Tigers orange? And it's an extra autograph. 5 auto box. I was going to say they did me dirty with the autos. I thought I'd get one good one for sure. I was kind of disappointed. Maury was going to be my hit. Look at that. Oh my. Max Clark, 15 out of 25 orange. Wow. Wow. What a pack to end it on. What a card. That's really cool. Wow. Now I just got to go quick recap here. I mean, you can't complain about a 5 auto box, huh? I honestly haven't seen many people open these, so I don't know what the norm is as far as how many color you usually get. But I feel like that was pretty strong, all things considered. All right, so there's the base refractors. You get 1 per pack. But I mean, Bert talked about how good this checklist is in terms of names. I mean, you can tell just on refractors alone, not that these sell for, I mean, maybe a couple bucks. I think the Shoheis sell for a lot. But look at the names on the refractors. Tatis, Mason Wynn, Vladdy Jr., Max Clark, Garrett Crochet, Ronald Acuna Jr., Carson Williams, Jack, Corbin Carroll, Spencer Schwellenbach, Andrew Painter, Kyle Stowers. I mean, just a solid checklist. I also like in Bowman, you always end up with like 300 base cards. This is what I have for base cards. That's easy to set aside. You're not stacking 500 count boxes of paper. So you got your base. Those were the refractors. These were kind of the inserts, if you will. We got the wave here. 1 per box. Bobby Witt on the circuitry. Marcelo Meyer on the best performers. I know this isn't a short printed card, but I love this old school design they went with. It reminds me so much of those old, I think it was 98 Griffies. That's really cool. Then you got the Pixels, Scooble and Cam Smith. All-Star Game, we got Zaire Hope and Leo DeVries. And then here are the hits. Jacob Wilson laser to 350. Jackson Merrill, purple to 250. Jackson Churio on the teal, aqua to 199. How about this one? Aaron Judge to 150. Luis Angel on the acetate, best tech out of 99. Vladdy Guerrero Jr., 74 out of 75 on the yellow. And then a 5 auto box, Gavin Keelan, Yolfran Castillo on the refractor, Thyron Lorenzo on the refractor, Shotaro Mori, big name, and last but not least, look at this, a Max Clark out of 25, a little color match to that Tigers orange there. Wow. Talk about some last pack magic with that orange Max Clark to 25. What a fun card that was. Great product overall. I loved the rip, especially for the price point. I usually stay away from Bowman's Best because it's not one of the 3 main Bowman releases, but it's arguably more fun than Bowman Chrome for me with the 4 autographs, all the color that they packed in there. Again, I want to thank Bert from Grand Salami Breaks for joining me. You can find him at Grand Salami SC over on Twitter and X. Make sure you hop in some breaks of his. He is the best breaker around and the only breaker, one of the only breakers, I should say, that I will break with. Thanks again for joining me, and stay tuned for our next podcast episode.